On this episode of Lawyers with Game, we talk with Joe Caputi of Profit Exchange about peer-to-peer sports betting networks. Join us for an exciting conversation. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Lawyers with Game. If you're interested in learning more about the worlds of esports and video games, you're in the right place. My name is Darius Gambino, and I am first and foremost a gamer. I'm also an intellectual property attorney with over 25 years experience advising clients on issues related to patents, trademarks, and copyrights. I'm with the firm of Saul Ewing in Philadelphia, PA, and you can find me on Twitter as @PhillyIP. My gamer tag on the PlayStation Network is EaglesFan71, so come out and find me for a game sometime. With me today is my colleague Zach Kizitaff. Zach and I are both members of the video gaming and esports group at Saul Ewing. Zach, maybe you can say a few words about yourself and your practice.
Thanks, Darius. My name is Zach Kizitaff. I'm an associate in the litigation department here at Saul Ewing. I assist clients in the sports and entertainment space as part of my practice. So this includes advising clients on NCAA compliance issues, which allows me to pair my sports and entertainment practice with my higher ed practice. And recently, I've been teaming with attorneys in our transactional group to help clients with really first of their kind contracts and agreements in the sports betting arena, which brings us to the topic of today's episode. We're extremely excited to have Joe Caputi with us. Joe is very experienced with the various and intricate New Jersey sports betting regulations. Joe has recently become the director of compliance for a really exciting new venture called Profit Exchange, which is the catalyst for today's episode. So Joe, if you wanted to say a few words about yourself and Profit Exchange.
Absolutely. Thank you both, Zach and Darius, for having me on. Again, it's a pleasure to be here. It's an honor to be here. Profit Exchange, in a nutshell, is the first of its kind sports wagering exchange in the United States. Brief background of myself. I was at a gaming law firm based in Philadelphia. My day-to-day was regulatory work, licensing applications, transactional work for these gaming clients. And then recently, as Zach said, I moved in-house to Profit Exchange, a new startup in New Jersey, Hoboken. And as I mentioned, endeavoring to be the first true sports wagering exchange in the United States. A brief background of exchanges. They are prevalent in Europe and the UK. But they're not in the United States, not yet, not for us. But previously, there was horse racing exchanges in the United States. That was brought over. I personally just don't think the market was ready for that. I don't think the consumers were ready for that to understand really how an exchange can be the best platform out there. So it didn't last. And then we came in and said, okay, I think the market's matured. The market's ready. The customers are ready. It's time to bring this to the United States. And so what an exchange does, it is a little different, very different than a traditional sports book. Assuming for the sake of conversation, everyone's basically familiar with a sports book. You bet against the house or the casino. The sports book is the house. With an exchange, you are betting peer-to-peer. So you are wagering against others, your other people that you know. You are not wagering against the house. Traditional sports books, they only make their money when you lose. Unlike traditional sports books, Profit Exchange only makes money when you win. We take a very small commission on each win. And over the life of the bettor, you're going to win more money on an exchange and you're going to lose less. For your traditional sports bettor, that is the best possible way for you to maximize your returns is an exchange, especially when it's operating in the most efficient way possible.
Thanks for that background, Joe, and thanks for coming on with us today. It's a really interesting topic, and just want to let all our listeners know out there that if they like these videos, they can like and subscribe, and also that the things that we talk about here today are not actual legal advice, even though there's 3 lawyers on the podcast today. So if you actually need legal advice, please reach out to myself or Zach, and we'll be happy to help you. So this whole concept of peer-to-peer betting,
Yes.
right, that you're talking about, it's really interesting because we know about things like DraftKings and FanDuel and traditional things where people go on and they bet
Exactly.
against the house. But in this model, in this peer-to-peer model, the users are actually, part of them are acting as the house, right? They're creating proposition bets, and then other users on the system are either taking those bets or not. And so maybe could you talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about how that process works with, say, for instance, you know, a -3, a team that was -3 in a football bet, you know, how that would work out on the profit exchange system.
Absolutely. And so, you can see my background. I'm an Eagles fan, Philadelphia. I'll use the Eagles. So Zach goes on to Profit Exchange, and Darius, just for sake of conversation, you're a Giants fan in this scenario. I hope that doesn't hurt your feelings. It would hurt mine, but just for sake of conversation. So your guys are talking, and Zach goes, I want the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to win I'm going to put them out for -3. And that means that they have to either win by more than 3, or if they win by 3, Zach will get his money back. But if they win by more than 3, whoever bets against Zach loses. So Zach goes on Profit Exchange and places an offer at -3 for the Eagles. Now you could go on to another sports book, might be -3.5, might be -4. Other sports books will all be different, but Zach's price, he wants -3. So he goes on and offers that bet. Now Darius comes along and goes, I think the Giants can absolutely cover +3. I think the Giants are going to win. So Darius sees that there's a -3 offer on there. He clicks the other side. So he now has +3 the Giants. So that now Zach's bet has been matched. It's fully matched, and at that point it's become a wager. Before that, when Zach only offered the wager or offered the -3, by law, it's not a wager yet. There's no one on the other side. It's not against the house. Zach could cancel it at any time before it's matched. Once Darius matches it, that is a wager, that is a bet. And now Zach has -3 the Eagles, Darius is +3. What I will say with that, although I'm using you two as examples, the users on Profit Exchange will never see who they're wagering against. It's all anonymous. That's security protection. That's anti-money laundering issues. There's many issues here to make sure that you never know who you're betting against. And so that I believe is a very important part of it. And I can stop there and go forward after that.
Yeah, no, I mean, my follow-up to that would be, you know, what about the amounts? When Zach is setting that -3 line for the Eagles, can he set it at any amount he chooses?
If he wanted to put $1 down, he could. $1 on the Eagles -3. If he wanted to do, well, by law, New Jersey, the largest wager you can do in one event is $5 million. So Zach did really well this past year at Saul Ewing, and he's putting $5 million down on the Eagles -3. Nothing would stop him to do that. The only issue is he has to now be matched. So if he uses $1, someone could wager 50 cents, and now half of his bet's matched, but the other half's outstanding. 5 million, he could have 5 million people place $1 against him, and then his bet is matched. That's another thing about Profit Exchange. You don't need the full wager match. So Zach could have partial, half of it, 1/100th. As long as part of it's matched, that will be considered a bet.
Great. Zach, I know you have a lot of questions too, so I'll kick it over to you.
Yeah, actually, one follow-up question on that before moving on. So when you think about FanDuel, DraftKings, things like that, there are cash-out options. Is there anything like that on Profit Exchange? And I guess a second question would be, when someone matches your bet, is there an opportunity to withdraw your bet before, tip off, puck drop, kickoff, whatever the case may be?
Both those questions I think are kind of intertwined. So once your bet is matched, you won't be able to cancel it. It then becomes a wager, and each state has different regulations, but specifically for New Jersey, the wager can't be removed unless it was approved by the Division of Gaming Enforcement. So for our example, once it's matched, no, it can't be canceled. But with the beauty of the exchanges, Now Zach can offset his -3. On the other side, he can go and put Giants +2.5 or Giants +4. He can hedge his own bets, and other people can hedge their own bets in order the way the market is moving on the exchange. Okay, when Zach placed the bet, the Eagles were -3. That was the best wager out there. Now people have those bets are taken off the board. Now there's a Giants +5 or a Giants +2, and Zach goes, I'm going to hedge myself. I'm going to bet the other side, and now I might have a slighter less win. I might be break even. It's up to Zach. But the market ability, using the market and using the exchange, you're able to hedge yourself and protect yourself, especially against some really bad bets. Let's say someone goes out, gets hurt right away before Zach's or after Zach's bet was matched. Should be able to offset that on the other side, and that's the same thing with cash outs. So there'll be live in-game betting as it goes on. You can set the other sides to try to get your money back if your bet's not looking great, or if it's looking really nice and you still want to hedge it a little bit, you can offer those. So you won't be able to cash out, but you'll be able to place other wagers constantly to almost get you to a net zero if you were scared of the Giants beating the Eagles. Yeah, which I'm not. No one on this call is scared of that.
But okay, that's a great point. So it's sort of like hedging as like a de facto cash out option. So you mentioned the New Jersey gambling regs. Can you talk a little bit? I know you're very experienced with those. Can you talk about how New Jersey kind of matches up against other states as we see sports gambling kind of explode across the country?
Absolutely. So I mean, if you remember 2018 May when the Supreme Court passed or overruled PASPA, it's a fun word to say. New Jersey was right there to be the first to go live. The Division of Gaming Enforcement, the operators that were ready, I mean, it was gung-ho, let's get this live. Before that, Atlantic City was very prominent. I mean, it's Atlantic City and Vegas are the two most well-known. Before sports betting, New Jersey's Division of Gaming Enforcement was always seen as one of the top, if not the top, regulatory bodies for gaming in the country. Their framework, the way it's developed, it's very intricate, but it's structured. Everyone knows their place. Whether you're an operator, a supplier, or just a person wagering, you know you're protected by the Division of Gaming Enforcement. You know things are going to be handled properly. That's the same with sports betting. So as soon as it came out, the Division was right on it. And as you see these new states pass sports betting, pass laws, a lot of the time they go to New Jersey and they ask for, hey, can we sit in for 2 weeks and watch you? Can I see your regs? Can we copy them? People look to New Jersey and the Division of Gaming Enforcement as the gold standard. So that was part of our strategic play profit exchange. You want to go where it's one of the most well-respected regulatory bodies in the gaming industry, and New Jersey's it. So going there, our thought is if we can get New Jersey behind this for them to understand it, regulate and license us, it sets us on a path forward that would be much harder starting anywhere else.
And you're going to launch this officially in New Jersey later this year?
Yes, very shortly.
Right?
Right before football season, we are set. Everything looks great. Very excited. I won't give any specific dates yet because that always comes back to bite me. But very soon, and truly anticipation is or energy is palpable. It's the office. There's a different vibe. Everyone knows it. We're almost there. So it was a long time coming, but cannot wait for it to finally start.
That kind of leads into another topic I wanted to discuss with you, another legal topic, which is the Wire Act, which is a federal law, which in some ways prohibits cross-border betting. And so talk a little bit about that and about how your initial pool of investors or bettors are going to be solely from New Jersey.
No, you have that exactly correct. And that was a main blocker for exchanges in the past to come over to the States. In the UK and Europe, there is no Wire Act. You could pool money from anywhere. In the United States, the Wire Act, which was passed in 1960 to curb the mafia, you weren't able to wager across state lines. So you'll know if you're in New Jersey betting, and you drive over to Pennsylvania, you'll say you're no longer in New Jersey, you're not allowed to wager anymore on this betting app for whatever ones you have. So that same thing applies to an exchange. You're only able to wager in New Jersey. So our pool of money, or the liquidity pool for bets that are being matched, bets that are being offered, can only come from New Jersey bettors. Again, they have to be in New Jersey when they place the wager. You don't have to be there to deposit and withdrawal, but the act of placing a wager has to adhere to the Wire Act, and that means it has to be solely in that state.
Okay, so it's not that like I have to be a
Correct.
resident of New Jersey. I can be in New Jersey with my phone, and I can place that bet as long as, or accept someone else's money line or odds line, as long as I'm in New Jersey
Absolutely.
when I'm doing
Absolutely. And yep. So if you're in Philadelphia, you can drive right over the bridge and place those. That's absolutely legal. You do not need to be a New Jersey resident.
that. Interesting. Okay. Exciting. Zach, I'll kick it to you.
Yeah, thanks, Darius. So another legal concept, Joe, that you and I have talked a lot about, I was hoping you could kind of explain on the episode here, was the concept of market makers, and first what they are, and then also the legal implications of contracting with these entities.
So, first step of a market maker, if you think of a stock market exchange, market makers are all over. They set prices on stocks. They flush the market with liquidity so people are able to buy stocks and sell stocks. Transferring that to a sports wagering exchange, it's not much different. They, as you said with the Wire Act, that causes liquidity issues because you're only able to wager against people that are currently in New Jersey. So the pool of money is all in New Jersey. Market makers, they come in and they're able to provide more liquidity in the market. They will allow, when Zach wants to have -3 and no one wants to take that, there's no other options there. A market maker hopefully can come in and match the bet so Zach's bet is matched, or offer is matched. So the main thing, market makers improve the exchange. They make it efficient. They continue to get people's bets matched or offers matched and accepted. But as New Jersey knew, and how we all knew, these entities have to be licensed. You have to be licensed properly. Especially with New Jersey and any gaming. Gaming is one of the most scrutinized regulatory bodies in the world. And so everyone that works here, whether you're a plumber for the casino office or anything, you have to be licensed. Everyone has to go through vigorous licensing. And that's no different for market makers. So New Jersey, what their concept was, absolutely, they have to file for one of the highest licenses you can get. As a supplier for New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement, us, on the other hand, we have to have a contract with them, and that also has to be approved by the Division of Gaming Enforcement. So there's multiple checks, multiple balances to understand that people that are coming in are licensed, they're suitable, and the customer is always protected, and making it the best experience for them. So, and that's where Zach's come in tremendously, and Saul Ewing in itself. These are the first of its kind in the United States. There are market maker agreements out there, but they're not under U.S. law. They're not under U.S. gaming law. And so those endeavors are exciting. They're challenging, but they have rapidly changed the landscape of an exchange for the better.
Yeah, and so we're talking about New Jersey right now, but I'm sure you have plans to go beyond that. And I think we saw, sports betting was legal in Las Vegas a long time ago, and New Jersey more recently. But now you're seeing lots of other states getting into the sports and esports betting out of the casinos. So how can you utilize New Jersey's regulatory scheme and the intense scrutiny that you had to go through to get your certifications there to help you move into some
Absolutely.
other states?
So, and I said earlier, New Jersey's really seen as a gold standard. So showing them how market makers work in New Jersey, how they get licensed, how the contracts work, showing us how profit exchange works, how it's the same responsible gambling tools. It actually could be safer for other users, able to hedge their bets easier. Just ways to show, and how New Jersey has tested it, that this product is safe. This product is licensed the same as any other sports book in New Jersey. We have to follow the same laws, file the same taxes. everything's the same and to make sure that it is protected. So that stamp of approval from New Jersey is how we feel our product is safe, our product is good. And then from there, we move into other jurisdictions. I mean, as you said, there's new states every day. Yesterday at the 11th hour, Massachusetts just passed their sports betting bill. So Massachusetts will have sports betting in the future. If we decide to go there, or any other 30, 31 states that have passed it, having that New Jersey stamp of approval and how New Jersey has licensed us, licensed market makers, licensed suppliers, only helps with our communications with other states. It's not an easy concept to grasp right away, especially for states that never even have casinos. So educating and regulators, having examples and walking through them with a lot of time at our disposal is what we hope to do and what we have done with new jurisdictions, but having New Jersey as a roadmap has made it all much easier.
Yeah, that's great. It's great that you get that New Jersey stamp of approval, and then I'm sure other states really appreciate that coming in. It's like,
Makes
all
them
right,
feel
these guys
much,
are
much
legit.
better. Yes.
So I wanted to ask you about, and I'm sure that this is probably something that keeps you and your team up at night, but some data security and privacy issues. What do you do to be proactive? It seems like, unfortunately, every day there's, company X, company Y, there are data breaches and customers' card numbers being stolen. So what do you do to kind of prevent that from happening?
Just like any other sports book in New Jersey, there are certain requirements we have to hit, and that includes security, that includes data retention, disaster recovery plans. All of our equipment, all our software needs to be tested and approved by the New Jersey Division of Gaming Enforcement's testing lab. So these are in place to protect customer data, personal proprietary information, and keep the customer safe at all times, like you said, with credit card transactions, bank account information. And so it's a partnership with us. It's a partnership with New Jersey that's checking off these boxes and making sure they're secure, having our plans in place if there ever was an issue. And then for the other providers that we work with, there are security data providers, third parties that will assist with us with this, but making sure everything is protected, encrypted, and locked away, because as you said, Zach, I mean, this customer information, data security breaches, they're everywhere. And so that's one thing that New Jersey, it's in their laws and their regulations. These things have to be approved, they have to work. And so I can fully say that all those work for us currently.
I think we have time for one more question for you, Joe, and I wanted to ask you a little bit about the software and how this gets implemented. Whether it's an app on my phone, whether it's a web browser, and how you went about designing the software, whether it was something you did in house or maybe just a little bit of details on what people can expect to see later this year, if they want to get involved.
Absolutely.
In Profit Exchange.
So we'll be available on the PC, mobile, mobile, iOS, and Android. So you'll have three options to choose from. From what I've learned recently, some people prefer to wager on their computer. I prefer to wager on my phone when I do, and I do it responsibly, I will say. But so those are three options that we will have absolutely at launch. Regarding the actual system, so this was above my pay grade, but everything I've learned so far, I've been told that it's a masterpiece. And I feel like it sounds like me, I'm boasting, but our developers, from everything I've seen, they are the best of the best. And our whole entire tech stack is built in-house. So there is no third party there. It's all proprietary. A lot of traditional sports books, there's fantastic companies out there that offer these tech stacks, this other information that they can just implement directly. But part of what helps us stand out is it's our own. When there's issues, we're not waiting for someone to get back to us. We're fixing it on our end. It has, especially for exchanges, and again, I don't know the coding and all that, but I know it is extremely difficult. And from people that are very familiar with exchanges in Europe and the UK, they've tested the product and they don't know how we did it. Again, I know this sounds like I'm boasting, but I'm just replying what I was told. They don't know how we did it, and they're extremely excited to actually see it go live. But in our demos and our practices, it's working great. You'll see everything right on the screen. On the left, you'll see the sports that are available. You'll see ones that have the most money being traded at the current time. You'll have your different leagues. You'll have your account information, your responsible gambling limits. Everything will be there. One click, one touch. And then if needed, we have our customer support line ready to go. You could always chat in, you could call, and that is 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 12 a.m., so 10 to midnight. And then other than that, then we get back to you right away if it's off hours. But through that, that's what you can expect to see. Always will be changes. We want to improve it. We want to keep building it to be the best exchange it possibly can be. So right now, I think it's great, and I can't wait to see what else we can do to improve it.
Yeah, really exciting stuff. I'm excited to place some bets on my Philadelphia Eagles.
We need to find some people that will take the Giants. I don't know who will, but we'll find them.
So right. Yeah, certainly no one on this call. But anyway, that's all the time we have for today. I really appreciate you coming on, Joe. I'll say if anyone has any questions, we talked about a lot of interesting legal issues today, the Wire Act and gambling regulations. If you have any questions about anything we talked about today, drop them into the comments, and Zach and I will do our best to answer them. But big thank you to Joe Caputi for coming on. Profit Exchange launching later this year. Got to be excited about that. And so, if there's anything else you want to say, Joe, before we get off?
I will say, if you're wondering why I have a mustache, it is our Go Live mustache. So I will shave it when we officially launch. That is my goal. But other than that, we are excited to have you. If you want a demo, just questions about the product, we also are hiring. Feel free to reach out or go directly to our website. We're always available, always giving demos. Very excited, and we can't wait to bring this to everybody and to everybody in the United States, New Jersey first, and get this up and running.
Yeah, and I did want to mention, I almost forgot, on Twitter, it's at Profit Exchange, and on the web, it's profitbettingexchange.com. So thanks, everyone, for watching the episode. Until next time, I'm Darius, and this is Zach, and we are Lawyers with Game. We'll see you next time.